All right. So welcome everyone to the session. Thanks for joining. Some really good shares there. I thought it was great that everyone's being so honest, and I think it helps people. So helps everyone to realize we're not alone in this, and that there is a way for all of us to overcome. We're not alone. We're not alone. So thanks for the sharing. Let me just share my screen then. Speaking of sharing, and we're going to dive into today's quote and a little bit of teaching, and then the lesson for today. Workbook lesson 3. So make sure that's up. Let me share my screen. Okay, so there you go. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
All right, so we've had this quote before, but I don't think it was the headline quote, so it deserves headline status, I think. Who would like to read that?
I'll go for it.
Okay.
A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty.
Oh, and that was a scientist, so quite a remarkable man, because he really started in the latter part of his life to sound more like a philosopher. That's more sort of philosophical quote. So it's a great reminder about the illusory nature of this world from a scientist. He clearly saw from his scientific exploration that this is a delusion of consciousness. Ideas of relativity. If you know anything about his theories of relativity, special theory of relativity, is that nothing is absolute and fixed. Everything's relative. The key's in the name. So there's no absolute time and space. They're relative to each other. So there's no absolute reality. That's what he discovered in the universe. It's all subject to change. And then the quantum physicists came along sort of 20 years later and said, well, actually, there is no reality in the absence of observation. If you look at the quantum level, it's all just in the mind. You're perceiving it as real, but is it really real? That's what it opens up to question. So he's just stating that an optical delusion of consciousness. So if anyone's like skeptical and they say I'm a scientist, and so I can't believe in all this stuff, the world is objective and real, you say, well, that's the Newtonian paradigm, that's Newtonian physics, but that's long outdated. Einstein came and reinterpreted that and gave us the theory of relativity, and then along came quantum physics, which also said, no, that's actually not true. There's no reality in the absence of observation. There's no such thing as an objective external reality. And that's a scientific principle. So you can speak to people like that on that level. Science, you can quote Einstein and the quantum physicists, Niels Bohr. There is no reality in the absence of observations. It's actually a profound philosophical statement that comes out of quantum mechanics. So illustrate, some of you might know this, but some of you don't. So if you haven't seen this picture before, just have a look at that photo I put next to the quote, and see what you see. Let's look at it for a few seconds, and what's your first impression that comes up? If you saw a boat, did anyone see a boat or a shark? If you did, the chances are you enjoy the ocean and travel, or you fear sharks. And the programming, that's programming that created this perception. If you see a cake, then you probably like cakes and food. Photos actually of a cheesecake. So just a little demonstration that reality is perceptual. We interpret reality. We give things a meaning. We project our meaning onto whatever it is that we see, and we give it that meaning in our minds. And that's really what the last two lessons have been about. I've given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Lesson 2. And nothing I see ultimately means anything. Lesson 1. So the truth is, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Our perceptions are continuously influenced. Our preferences and attachments, unless you've done a lot of mind training to undo these, your perceptions of any person, object, place, or situation are never objective, because it's your own thought system, your own beliefs and thoughts and emotions. You go look at the instrument for peace. It's all this stuff. The desire to be a separate self, your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, all influence your perceptions. So there's no such thing as an objective perception when all of that very personal stuff is going on to influence your perception. Right? The external world, the sensory data coming in, is what Newtonians of physics would say, that's objective. But even that's not, because yes, you're saying that's a projection of the mind just on another level. It's not a conscious level. You're projecting it, and then you're perceiving it simultaneously. And through that projection perception mechanism, you create a seemingly external world. And this is what quantum mechanics started to see. So, okay, there isn't actually anything there. You can't really say that something's a particle or a wave. As soon as you try and identify something, there's the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Because you can't say where something is, electron or particle, where something is and what speed it's moving at. You can never be sure. So it's asked the question, well, what is actually there then? Is it actually real, or is it just what all the mystics have said? It's a projection of the mind. It's illusion. It's Maya. You project it on one level, you perceive it on another. All of that becomes real to you, and you've invented a false reality for yourself. And your beliefs and thoughts and emotions keep you locked into that reality and unable to escape the prison of your own making, which is what Yeshua is teaching us. And the way out of that prison is miracles or corrections. So when you have a shift in your mind, a shift in thought and belief, and then that can often lead to some shifts on the external level in behavior and in form outcomes. That's the way of shaking that up, disturbing the ego's default program of desire to be separate, belief, thought, emotion, and perception. So that's what we're doing with this course, shaking it all up and saying let's interrupt that pattern, and that feels quite disturbing to the equilibrium, doesn't it? As Yeshua said in a recent one of the text readings, he said an upside down equilibrium is not stable. You can't expect stability from that. So it may seem like your life's becoming more unstable, but actually it was never stable, because your thought system was upside down, and you can never find stability and security in an upside down thought system. So you're merely becoming aware of the upside down nature of it, and then it all feels pretty unstable while you're doing the correction. It's like the ball, those balls with things floating inside them, and you turn it upside down, and then everything goes up. Snowflakes or whatever it is, and they have to settle down. So that's kind of what is happening for a lot of you, it seems. So the miracle, I wanted to share this little miracle, and this will resonate with South Africans. Any South Africans on the call? No, I don't think so, actually. It's a shame, because this is about load shedding. So this was in 2019. I was running a Art of Letting Go course, and we had load shedding, or she might have just had a power cut. I can't remember, but she said, no, like, I can't make it. And I said, well, join anyway. And she said, oh, you're a joker. And I said, well, no, just a miracle worker who believes there's no order of difficulty in miracles. So I said, let's try this as an experiment. Everyone set the intention for Jean to be at the meditation this evening. Let go of any doubts that arise as a result of seeming technical difficulties, i.e. no power. Expect a miracle. Do this in absolute faith and certainty for a minute or two, and then join us at 6 p.m. So I did exactly that, spent a couple of minutes, reminded myself there's really no order of difficulty in miracles, so don't obey the laws of this world. So anything on this material plane is possible if you believe it is. That's what it means, because those laws don't actually apply. They're not ultimately true. And then importantly, I let it go. I didn't obsess about it and go, it's like, okay, I've done it. It was a minute or two, and I carried on working, I think, until 6 o'clock. I logged on, and then she showed up in a couple of minutes. Her power came on just after 6, and that allowed us to do a meditation. But it was bizarre because her phone line wasn't even working. So how and at that stage it wasn't fiber. So how would it have worked without a phone line? It's not clear, but it did somehow. So broadband miraculously worked and enabled her to connect to the internet for about 25 minutes, which is just long enough to do the meditation before power went out again. So it was like a little miracle, a little window of light in the darkness, literally in this case, to show us that you're not limited by these laws of time and space. They can be overcome. So the lesson to be learned from the story is quite clear. Don't give in to the negativity that the dysfunction of the society in which you live can so easily foster. So in South Africa, there's rolling power cuts all the time. It can be very easy to go, oh, well, this is the way it is. But actually, one can still keep an open mind, believe in the power of miracles or corrections that transcend the apparent laws of time, space, instead, and they will come to brighten your life and help you to light up the lives of others, sometimes literally, as in this case. So, little miracle story. We've had a number of miracles being shared. Anyone else got any other stories to share, miracle stories?
I was just thinking as you were talking, and I was just thinking, my son was just saying how stressed he is. He's in the 4th level of interviews, quite high level job. And as you were talking, I was just thinking, I've just got to see him having completed the interviews and gotten the job. And he just texted to say he's got the job.
No, really?
Instantaneous.
Instant miracle. There you go.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So that's how it works. You shift belief, and then things on the level of form change, because it's showing you that your belief and the external world are not separate. It isn't an objective world. It's a subjective world. The perceiver influences the reality all the time. This is what the quantum physicists have discovered, and they've proved that in experiments time and time again. The experiments have been replicated around the world in thousands of different places, and it's the same outcome. The intention of the experimenter influences the outcome of the experiment, even on a scientific level. So if you want something, the infamous double slit experiment, if you want the electron to behave as a wave, it behaves as a wave. But if you want it to behave as a particle, because you put a particle counter onto the slit, then it behaves as a particle. So there's no independent objective reality. It depends on what you want to see. And they've seen that experimentally. So it's a profound law of life. You decide what you want to see, and then you collapse. You manifest that reality. The reality collapses into that state because of your intention. It becomes a particle if you want it to be a particle, a wave if you want it to be a wave. On a human level, situations will show up and manifest according to your intention. What do you focus on?
Yeah, that is so true what you're sharing, Jono. Like, I'm thinking of this little girl from yesterday that was vomiting and having diarrhea, and she said that she was like, her mom sent me an SMS last night to say she wasn't pleased not to come if she didn't vomit last night. So I was actually focusing or setting the intent that she was already fully healed, or she was going to be well tomorrow, that she was going to be fully healed tomorrow. It's because she really wanted to come to the session. And I wanted to give her that this well-being of the session as well, the wellness or whatever. And this morning, it was last minute, the mom said, yeah, she really wants to come. She's on her way there. And I didn't even know that she was on her way there. I wasn't even ready. But I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll be there. I'll be there. At that time, I was just flowing with it, not like having expectation towards the intention I had of her being fully healed. But it's so funny how, like you said, it just unfolded miraculously like that.
But there's a good point there, because it's like, don't obsess about the outcome.
Yeah, I didn't obsess about the outcome or the results.
Exactly. In this situation. So it's a couple of minutes. I just reminded myself, and then I let it go. I let go of, okay, will it happen? Won't it happen? Because then you're not surrendering, are you? You're not just allowing. It's like, okay, do it, forget about it, and it just shows up. So it's actually so easy. It's stress-free, it's easy. It's just like, change your mind, set the intention, and then it shows up. If you overdo it and you try, it's like over baking a pudding or something. It's it doesn't work, because the mind's then getting involved, and you've got expectation then. So, well, will it happen? Won't it happen? And now you're in the duality of it, and then, well, if I visualize it harder, then it'll happen. But that's not the case, actually. That's a paradoxical law. The harder you try, the less likely it is to happen.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, no, that shows you. I mean, this experience is really mind-blowing. The miracle experience.
Miracles should be easy, effortless. It's just like, okay, it's a change, it's a correction in your mind. You shift, and then you let it go. Okay, I'm not attached to outcome. Whatever needs to happen on the level of form.
But she was fully healed. That's amazing. She was fully healed, like nothing happened. Like she was in great, like nothing happened, and then she arrived like a bundle of joy, and like fully healed. Like didn't even think about what happened last night, the vomiting and the diarrhea or whatever. But she was just processing, I think, the fact that she didn't really enjoy that food. She didn't want it. She didn't like it. The body rejected it, whatever. And but yeah, it's amazing miracles.
And so they're actually quite easy. He says, the miracles are natural. When they don't happen, then something's gone wrong. Like this should just be the natural. Every apparent situation in our life can be handled in this way, miraculously. In a flow state, without too much effort. You just take guidance and you allow it to flow forward, without any of that resistance and attachment, desire or aversion, craving or aversion, or is in the Buddhist teaching, are the problems. And this just lets all that go, and you say, okay, so I'd remind myself of the principles, I let it go, I don't worry about how it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, and then it shows up, and she joins. And the more you apply this, the more you start seeing, well, this actually really does work. There's no doubt it works. Like I can't doubt my own experience anymore. There's no doubt it works. So I'm onto something here. I must be tapping now into a kind of fundamental truth. And that's what you are doing. You're tapping into the level of truth, and the miracle shows you that truth and reveals it to you in your own experience, which is why the miracles are necessary. It's why it's called the Course in Miracles, because the more you have those, the more you start to trust in this underlying truth, and trust yourself to hold to it, to go, oh, you know, I can do this. I can actually do this. I can stay in that truth and allow it to, you know, guide me, and I trust myself to do that.
Yeah, that's where I know I struggled before to trust and have faith that it will just unfold exactly as it should. So I'm getting that trust and faith back, you know, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fact that my mom meditating last night is a miracle. Meditated,
Yeah. So you are making a difference, you know, and your persistence is rewarded if you keep doing this. Keep staying true to the truth, and persistence will be rewarded, and the miracles come to show you, look, yeah, you're on the right track. Okay, you know, keep going. This is working. You're heading in the right direction. Just keep doing it. Otherwise, you would lose faith if you didn't have these little miracles. So they are the way that you learn this course, and you're learning it experientially through your own practice. You know, you change of mind, and then, you know, you see these things showing up in your life, and that's interesting. Your life can be interesting, be a very happy dream to do that. It's not boring at all. Living in the domain of the miraculous is the best life you can possibly live while you're here. It's still an illusion, but it's a happy one, and it's surprising. What I enjoy about miracles is you never know what's going to show up. It's always a surprise, a very nice surprise, as opposed to, you know, the ego's version of manifestation, conscious manifestation. It's not a surprise. No, I intend it. I'm going to set the goal, and so now you've got this no surprise, and this often kind of grinding your way to get it. It's like, oh, I want that. So all the wanting and the needing and the craving, and then often the ego uses that, kicks in and says, no, well, we're not going to give it to you now. So then there's all the resistance and the suffering when you don't get it, when you hit the obstacles. Whereas this, well, I was never attached to the outcome anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just more about the process and, you know, getting into the flow, being in the flow of life, and the outcome looks after itself.
Yeah, I think that's the
It's
key.
the easiest way.
The flow, the flow of life.
It's the easiest way to live. Why do we, you know, you got to ask yourself, why have I made my life so hard when it could be this easy? And the reason is your mind was untrained and you didn't know better, but now you do. So, you know, don't keep making your life difficult. Just apply these principles more and more, and you'll see, like, you know, the Spirit wants to bless you, wants to help you and heal you and help others, and you find, you know, there's this like ongoing flow of miracles in your life. It's the way you live. You expect them. You know this is always possible, and you overcome the doubt. Okay, so anything else to share? Anyone comments on that in terms of the power breathing with the releasing movement? Maybe we'll just should we do one or two breaths like that? So you probably want to stand up. I'm going to sit down because otherwise you're not going to be able to see me. But let's just do this. This is one of those energizing techniques I talked about. So you could do this very quickly, just in a minute or two, to bring in some energy. If you're feeling like you need to let go, you're feeling restless. So just standing up, so feet shoulder width apart, stand up, and make sure your back straight, reasonably straight, kind of upright, shoulders back. Take a deep breath in. So it's the power breath, if you did that session, into the lower stomach. And you clench the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. That locks the energy in, raises the pelvic floor. And second phase of the breath, into your heart center. And put one hand in your heart, to connect with your heart space. Squeeze your abdominal muscles in and down. So you're locking the energy in again. And then third phase of the breath, into your upper chest and your head. So you pause at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. You're standing up now. So now raise your arms up. to the sky. Take another sip of air in. Give a nice stretch up. You can go up on your toes. You can do a little slight backward bend, so just kind of sway backwards. Feel the stretch up your arms. And take another sip of air at the top. Just hold it there for a few seconds. Notice whatever's going on, any thoughts, any emotions arising, any body sensations. Notice all of that. And is there anything that feels at all negative or limiting, contracted, constricting, an emotion, a thought, tension in the body, neck and shoulders, not in your stomach, whatever's going on, notice it. Now you can let it go. This is a great letting go technique, because you exhale and then you come down. You come down and touch your toes if you can. Dangle your hands, touch the toes, touch the floor if you can, or get as far as you can. Knees slightly bent. You don't have to have your legs completely straight. And then pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. You just hang there for a while. This empty state. You're completely empty. Notice the peace that comes in the gap between breaths. And then smoothly, you're going to inhale again. So you come up slowly on the inhale over about 5 to 10 seconds. You raise yourself up. The spine unfolds vertebra by vertebra. The maximal inhale breath, clench the sphincter muscle, lock the abdominal muscles into the upper chest, into the head. Maximal inhale breath. Reach up, feel the stretch in the shoulders. Do a little backward bend. Feel the stretch on the sides and your arms. Another sip of air at the top, raise up, fully up, can go onto your tips of your toes, stretch and try and touch the ceiling or the sky. Another breath in, and just hold the breath in briefly. Just pause, again, scan your mind. Anything going on, anything that's at all negative, limiting, contracted, constricting, or disturbing in your energy field, you feel it as a thought, an emotion, or a body sensation. Just be aware of that in this gap between breaths, and you're going to choose to let it go. It doesn't serve you, so you can just drop it. You're going to use your breath and your body to help you do that now. So exhale out fully, and you come down. So bring your hands down, bend down, and try and touch your toes. So you just kind of hanging loose there. And you can do a sway a bit side to side, and you can just straighten one leg, straighten another. So if you're stretching your hamstrings, just hang out there. Notice the peace and the emptiness, stillness in the gap between breaths. And you probably want to breathe in again now. So breathe in again smoothly, inhale. And as you do that, slowly raise yourself up. So you bring yourself up to the upright position. Your spine straight at the top of the inhale. Maximal inhale breath. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down. And there's the energy all the way up into the crown of your head. So you feel like you're raising the Kundalini energy up. Pause at the top of the inhale. Stretch up. Go on your toes. Little stretch, backward bend. Just observe anything going on still. Maybe it's just pure formless awareness, just an empty, open awareness, in which case enjoy it. If there's any thoughts going on, any resistance, any emotions, and maybe that shows up in your body as physical sensations, breathe into that one more time. And you're just going to give yourself permission to release it all now. You don't have to hold on to this. It really doesn't serve any purpose. You can let it go. So you exhale. And you blow it all out. You come down. So put your head forward between your legs. Hang your arms down, try and touch your toes. Just let them kind of hang loose, sway side to side. Straighten one leg, straighten another. Feel a little back stretch, hamstring stretch. And just kind of hang out there for a bit. Just finding the peace and the stillness between breaths. And when you're ready, just come up gently, slowly with another inhale. I'm going to raise your arms now. Just anchor the state in. It's clear, present, aware state. Anchor it in. Set the intention to stay there for the rest of the session in the afternoon. So it's said, so it's done, and then you can sit back down. So that's power breathing with a releasing movement, which is can do just one of those, one breath like that, take you a minute, can really help you just let go. It can help you to re-energize yourself. If you're feeling a bit tired, it can get some energy going. If you're feeling zoned out after meditation, you could do 1 or 2 power breaths like that. Try and do it, ideally when there's no one around, but people might think you're a bit weird, but whatever. It's a great releasing and energizing technique. And you can use to help you with letting go. If you need to really let go of something, just doing the breath and the body movements, it's like another level of letting go, because you're actually letting go with the body as well as the breath. Okay, so any comments or questions about that?
That was brilliant. That was amazing.
So
Remind me of
simple,
those brain gym movements actually as well, or yoga.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
If you think about yoga, probably this is how yoga started.
Yeah.
There've been a couple of guys hanging out on a mountain or wherever they were in India, Tibet, these kinds of places, and some guy went, this feels really good. You stretch up, you breathe in, you stretch down, you release, and that is, that's the start of sun salutations. Stretch up, salute the sun, you come down, it's a yoga posture, and then they just develop, from there. They went, okay, well, that feels good, moving while you're breathing, so let's experiment with that. Let's see, if we go into another posture and we breathe, how does that feel? And this is the way yoga was invented. It feels quite good. So you're kind of going back, I think, to the origin of that whole modality, tapping into it and using its power. You could do that any time in the day, just to release, to re-energize. There's a number of benefits to it. It only needs to take, one breath would take you a minute, maybe. If you want to do 3, it might take you 3 to 5 minutes. But you got these tools. You can change your state like that. You see how quickly you can change your state just by using a technique like that, because you're in a different state compared with 5 minutes ago. So if you're feeling like really emotional, Susie, head, getting into the head, just, that can help. So it just gets you into the breath, into the body, you're releasing. And at the end of it, you should find more awareness, just a clear kind of calm, but quite aware. It's not like zoned out. You're actually quite aware and focused, which can be a very useful state to be in if you need to still operate in the world. Okay, so that's power breathing is releasing. That's your 9th breathwork technique that we've covered in this breathwork course. It's part of the bigger course. Okay, any questions, comments about that? No. All right. So moving swiftly on then. If you feel any discomfort in meditation, then you were saying, there's discomfort sometimes. You have to get up and move around. The mind's busy. Just persevere through the discomfort and focus on your breath. If you really can't help yourself and you need to get up, then get up and do a breath like that. Get up and do 3 breaths like that and just get that energy out. and then see if you can sit down again and settle. So that could be instead of breaking the meditation and just giving it up, you could do something like that, and then you could go back to it. So you can start to use these techniques, in combination with other things like meditation to help you. And then we did a discussion of why meditation is effective on rewiring one's neural pathways and biochemistry, which you can listen to. And there's the Joe Dispenza talk. That's some great stuff. There's also an article on the 4 meditation superpowers, which I talked about. So there's the zoning in, there's the zoning out, zooming in, zooming out. First skill that you gain from meditation is improving your ability to focus. So it means you can zoom in your attention on anything, sustain it there, and ignore distractions. So be very present, very focused, and that's hugely useful in this world, to be able to do that. So in career, in education, finances, any work, sports, art, it's very helpful to not be distracted, be able to focus our attention, and will help you to be more present, more effective. Enjoy, you're in the flow then, basically. If you're zooming in, you're in the flow, the activity. So it's the power of focus. Meditation will help you with that. And then there's the zooming out perspective. Zooming gives you focus, zooming out gives you perspective. It's ability to not get sucked into mental and emotional stuff. So in other words, it's the awareness from which you can now observe it, and then you can make the choice to let it go if it doesn't serve you. So you have to zoom out to do that. So it's critical to letting go. This is about zooming in and being in the flow. So miracles, but the zooming out is often necessary to activate that flow. Because if you can let go of the sticky thoughts and emotions, then you're much more likely to be able to zoom in and really just be present and focus without any interference of those sticky thoughts and emotions. So whatever it is, whatever the trauma is, the past, usually we can zoom out. We can go into a higher awareness using, meditation can really help, breathing, and we can observe it, and we can realize that this isn't really us. It's not ultimately true. So then we can make the conscious choice to let it go, but it requires the awareness, the zooming out first. So meditation helps you with that ability. The more you can do that in meditation, the easier you're going to be able to do it just in your daily life. And if you really need to let go, doing it in a meditation, like I've embedded it into the 10-step letting go process, it will help you a lot. Okay, and then pausing. So this is a skill most people associate with meditation. So the ability to pause and say, okay, I don't have to react here. I can pause. I can consider my options. I can think consciously about this. You had a great example of that the other day, Elaine, because you had that situation and you normally would have reacted, but you paused and you said, okay, well, how could I respond better to this? And then you chose a better way. So that was an example of pausing, which the practice you've been doing would have helped you with. Not reacting, and it allows you to break bad habits. And in that pause, you can change, the transformation of the thought. So there's the miracle, the correction, and then also of your words and your actions. And then you can change the channel as well. How's the pausing, zooming out and zooming in come together as the ability to change channels. So you got all these different channels going on in your head. Susie, this might resonate with you. Some of them are, informative, entertaining, or useful, but many are just bad shows and addictive. So how do you switch channels? If you're on the one channel and you're kind of addicted to it and your mind is obsessed with that, how do you change the channel? So, well, if you can zoom out, you can be aware of the thoughts and emotions. You can pause on the zoom out. You can go, okay, so I notice, so the rest before changing the channels, notice the unhelpful channels come up. So you have an awareness, which is cultivated through your meditation practice. And so you're aware of an uncomfortable thought or feeling. Then you pause, you're able to breathe in, you're able to observe it. So there's a sense of a zooming out. With that, pause, zoom out, see the bigger picture, observe the thought and emotion coming up. Let it be there, but realize that you don't need to focus on it. And then you can powerfully let it go, and you can zoom into something else. So you could then say, well, let me direct my focus elsewhere. That might be back into the meditation if you're meditating. It might be into more constructive activity. You do something that you enjoy. You do some self-care. Whatever it is. So you've just changed the channel and you've zoomed into something much more productive, much more helpful. So that's kind of mastering all the previous three. So zooming in, zooming out, and pausing, and then that gives us the ability to change the channel and focus our attention and energy where it's going to be best used. And meditation allows us to do all of these things. So keep meditating. All right, any questions on that? No? All right, so let's move swiftly on then to today's workbook lesson. So today's workbook lesson number 3, I do not understand anything, i.e. is the lesson. So I think that let me just guide you through this because it's really just experiential this, and then afterwards wants to discuss anything we can. Okay, so you're just going to make yourself comfortable, normal meditation posture. Let's just get into closed eyes to start with. Close your eyes. So in a comfortable position, feet shoulder width apart, back straight. Hands in your lap, close your eyes, and take a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Just, to your heart, hand on your heart, connect with your heart space. And then draw it up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Just scan your mind, notice any thoughts, emotions, body sensations going on for you, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, attracted, constricting in any way. And just to clear your mind, you're going to let go of this, blow it all out. If you like, you can stand up and do that. Raise your hands up to the ceiling and do one of the power breaths with releasing movement. And so you just let it go, breathing out, blowing any dark energy out. Imagine it's like a dark smoke or black cloud leaving you. All the stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest here. And sit a few moments. Connect with your breath, so breathing in and out through the nose. Going to that normal diaphragmatic breath watching, observing the sensations in the nose, the nostrils, area just below the nose, between the nose and the upper lip. Do that for a few breaths. So you're very clear, very present, very aware, very light. So now in this calm, clear, quiet state, just open your eyes gently and apply today's idea same way as the previous ones, without making distinctions of any kind. So as you look around the room, just say, I do not understand anything I see. I do not understand anything I see. So I don't understand this wall. If you look at a wall, I understand this chair. Just apply it randomly to whatever you happen to see. Do that for maybe a dozen objects. There's no hurry, there's no rush, it's just very casual. Don't question the suitability of anything. It's not an exercise in judgment, as Yeshua says. Anything is suitable if you see it. So some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning for you. So if you feel any emotions coming up, just try to let go of them. And just use these things exactly as you would anything else. Okay? So your action's exactly the same because nothing's really changed. Your true awareness is still the same. Which is why ultimately you can come to a true understanding. You must let go of the false understanding first. And these steps are steps in undoing the ego. I do not understand anything I see. And just connect with that and feel that. So you continue looking around. Notice any thoughts, emotions coming up. Point to the exercise to help you clear your mind, all past associations. Okay? So no past, you're not seeing from the past, just seeing from your true awareness. And this statement, I do not understand anything I see, helps you access that awareness. It's a clearing statement. With these things exactly as they are, without projecting your beliefs onto them, without giving them a meaning, and you're much closer to true reality, to the true deeper understanding that will come once you let go of the surface level understanding. So keep a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment, selecting the things. Do one more look around, scan the room, up, down, side to side, behind you. Don't select anything or avoid anything, and just say the idea one more time. I do not understand anything I see, or can extend that to perception. I haven't changed it to perception because we're just starting with baby steps. It's asking us just to focus on the visual sense to start with, but you can actually extend it to your entire perception. So it's anything that you see or you touch or taste or feel or hear. This applies equally. I do not understand anything I see, feel, touch, taste, hear, perceive in any way. The entire thought systems, the ego is false. So why you don't understand anything you see, really. So now just close your eyes. And rest in this state of peace. There's the deep peace that it's brought you. Just breathing in and out through your nose. Focus your attention on the present moment. Invite this peace. Comes from spacious awareness. Comes from letting go of your existing understandings. See how it's all connected. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. And surrender into the stillness. Beyond the need to understand intellectually. Lies the peace. It's called the peace of God. Surpasses all understanding in the Bible. Peace of God or love that surpasses all understanding. You have it now. It's in your awareness now. So just embrace it, invite it in, breathe it in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the peace, surpasses all understanding. And you just rest in this peace for a few minutes. If any thoughts arise, just let them go. Breathe into them. Breathing in this peace, this awareness that dissipates them, and remind yourself that I do not understand anything I see. So anything I perceive, it's in your mind, there's a situation that's troubling you, thoughts and emotions around that. Just reminding yourself, I do not understand anything I perceive. It's kind of a letting go. It's like, what if I don't understand it, really, then how can I respond effectively to it? So let it go. Don't have to understand. It's recognition that I do not understand anything opens your mind to a non-conceptual intelligence. The moments of perfect love, which is the Holy Spirit, can come in, and in the emptiness that you've created, give you guidance, show you the way. And so just for a couple of minutes, just surrender to the emptiness, stillness, breathe in and out through your nose. There's nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, just stay in the underlying awareness that underlies all of your understanding of the world. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding that the Apostle Paul referred to in the Bible. Just experience that deeply and fully for the next Couple of minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back. This deep state of awareness. And the peace that surpasses all understanding. And bringing your attention back into the body and the breath, senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Again, scan your mind as you breathe in. If you're seeing anything in there, thoughts, emotions, just body sensations, you might remind yourself, I do not understand anything I see, perceive. And you exhale, let it go. Blow it all out. Notice the airflow out, chest and the stomach suck back in. Energy raise up into the crown, subsides back down, the front channel of your body coming to rest in your lower stomach and your groin. Count of 2, just notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Notice what you feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose perhaps. Notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm and surrendered state. And set yourself into the state. Stay in the state for the rest of the session and the afternoon. So it is said and so it is done. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around. And as you look around, just apply the idea one more time. Whatever you see, just remind yourself, I do not understand anything I see. very casually, quietly, as you scan the room. Applies to everything. Don't discriminate, don't select anything, avoid anything. It's just a universal statement that applies to everything. I do not understand anything I see. I don't really understand very much. We think we understand what we see. Bishop's saying, actually, you don't. And the recognition that you don't is the opening to your true understanding. So this is a lesson in undoing your existing understanding and opening up to true understanding, which will come when you let go of your existing understanding. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the lesson and the meditation. So any thoughts or comments on that lesson? So while we're at it, otherwise I'm going to go into the seventh pathway. It's just a few paragraphs to read there. So let's dive in there to the course pack. Okay, well, it's just okay. So seventh pathway is it's a new set of pathways. So this is about flowing rather than manipulation. Someone like to read?
Yeah. I open myself genuinely.
No, already just read from here. This is the introduction to the it's a new set of 3 pathways, which is all about interacting with others. That's the theme of the next
Okay.
pathway.
Okay.
So flowing
rather than manipulation is the way of higher awareness. Flowing means moving with the forces around us and being in tune with the vibrations of the people and things in our environment. Flowing enables us to find the love, beauty, and peace that we are missing in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the flow state is really synonymous with being miracle-minded. It's the same thing. It's when we access the deeper awareness, the higher awareness, and then higher awareness comes in, and that directs our thoughts and our words and our actions, which is exactly what the miracle is. So it's just different terminology for the same state. And the flow state is one that reveals more of ourselves to us. We start to tap into the true self through the state of flow, which, the Course is telling us, miracles reveal your true self. So, but it might be more helpful to use the terminology flow rather than miracles, because maybe it just flows more about feeling, the state of being. Miracles often is misperceptions. So use whichever terminology works for you. And so these pathways are all about, how do you flow with life? And particularly in the interactions with others. What trips us up and blocks our flow so often is our interactions with other human beings, and we get stuck. So it's a major, aspect of our learning is how do you relate to other people? Okay. So yeah, seventh pathway.
I open myself genuinely to all people by being willing to fully communicate my deepest feelings. Since hiding in any degrees keeps me stuck in my illusion of separateness from other people.
Okay, any thoughts on that? Myself genuinely to all people. I'm wanting to fully communicate my deepest feelings. Hiding in any degree keeps me stuck.
Yes, it's funny when I read this, it reminds me of yesterday's experience when some people's dogs were running towards me to greet me, and the people, like, often the owners say, "No, come back," but they don't let the dog be in his free spirit or in his free mind in a way. But the dog, and I say, yeah, it's normal. It just came to greet. It just came to say hello. So I was expressing, I guess, my feeling of my feelings there, maybe communicating what I was feeling. The dog was doing.
Yeah.
What the dogs were doing.
Yeah. So what this is saying is you can't repress your feelings.
Yeah.
I must fully communicate my deepest feelings. If I'm not feeling okay about something, then I should say that to someone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's repression.
Mm-hmm.
Too often, people pleasing. It's like I don't want to say anything bad because I don't want to rock the boat. So I repress my feelings, and then you suffer the consequences because those repressed feelings they stew there. They sit underneath in your subconscious, and they will come out in various ways, behavior, in physical symptoms, and so on. That isn't helpful for you. So communicating freely, it's a big thing in the Living Miracles community, which is they try and live these teachings. No people pleasing is one of the key rules.
Yeah.
So in other words, you speak your truth. If there's something that's arising and there's a feeling that needs to be expressed, then you express it without that someone might not like it, but I need to be true to myself because this is what's coming up, and I feel like I need to express it.
Yeah.
So it's one of the maybe more difficult pathways, especially if you have the tendency to people please and not want to upset people. Then to speak your truth might feel really difficult, but then that's exactly what you got to learn. Okay, so next one, I think let's let Elaine read this. As you begin to upgrade all your addictions to the status of preferences. Second paragraph, can you read that for us, Elaine?
As you begin to upgrade, is that the one?
Yeah.
As you begin to upgrade all your addictions to the state of preferences or eliminate them entirely, you will discover that you no longer have anything to hide from other people. It then feels good to be able to communicate with other people exactly what you're experiencing. As you grow into higher awareness through eliminating your addictions, you will be able to drop off the deceptive and manipulative games you have been playing.
Does it resonate?
Mm-hmm.
So you stop playing the games that the ego likes to play. And we're going to address that in the naming your game exercise. So what are the games that your ego likes to play? Manipulation, control, deception, characterize egoic relationships. We've all been there. We know what they feel like. Doesn't feel good, does it? When you drop all that, then you can be authentic. Okay, it feels good to be able to communicate with other people exactly what you're experiencing. So the way to share something, so you don't say, oh, well, you did that, you made me feel this. You go, look, I'm feeling this. I just want to share my feelings. Right now I'm feeling whatever it is. I'm uncomfortable, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling resentful. So then it's not an attack on the person. You're just sharing your own feelings. Do you see the way to do it? That's skillful. As soon as you project onto the other person, well, you did this and you made me feel, that's unskillful because then you're blaming them, not just sharing your feelings. So there's these are important differences in how you go about this. Okay, so any other thoughts on that? Second paragraph. Notice how they interlock. Upgrade your addictions to the status of preferences or eliminate them entirely. Discover that you no longer have anything to hide. Okay, so the addictions, if I have a self-seeking motive, I think I need my addiction met, then I'm going to play various deceptive, manipulative games to try and get what I think I need. But if I've dropped the need, then well, there's no agenda. I can just be free, honest, open in my communication without an ulterior motive. Do you see how the pathways are related? Okay, the next one, when you're not completely open and truthful to everyone. Who wants to read that? Susie, maybe? Would you like to read that for us?
When you are not completely open and truthful to everyone, i.e. when you are trying to hide some of your inner thoughts and feelings from them, you perpetuate and strengthen the illusion of separation from others. One of the ways to escape from this wall of isolation is to communicate. Well, here I am. This is what my addictions are making me feel here and now. I set myself, including my addictions, as being on an unfolding journey towards a more peaceful state of loving awareness.
Okay, so any thoughts on that?
I tend to have it for everybody else, but not myself, Jono. That's what I've come up today. Well, the mind is saying that I find it very easy, you know, like Elena was saying that you went out for dinner yesterday, whereas I cooked my lads because they're not normally at home. I cooked them all a lovely roast dinner. I didn't do it for myself because I didn't want that. I do so many loving things, but I don't see it about myself. And we don't see ourselves, do we? We don't see the truth of ourselves.
Yeah, so you still feel like there's a wall of isolation somehow.
Yeah, but it's not against. I just look, and the more I listen to everything that you're saying and doing, gosh, it's amazing that I can do what I'm doing, yet I don't feel it for myself. I just don't. I repel against myself somewhere. I don't allow myself, or I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? It's just, I can sense, you know, the resistance and everything. And I did think it was my heart, but something said it's not your heart, it's the ego. You just need to drop the ego. And it's like, wow.
There's always the ego. Yeah.
My heart, no, because I don't know. But there must be something there that's stopping myself to truly, it's got to be something to do with hurt and pain. Obviously, I'm not deep enough yet, Jono.
And it's not you being of service or wanting to be of service to others.
I did for a long time, didn't I? I was running a business, but it just went tits up. Not tits up. It was just that I wasn't confronting all of this. So it wasn't genuinely coming from, you know, truth. It was, I couldn't really, I was the happiness coach, but becoming very unhappy.
Oh,
wow, we have a synchronistic experience. There's a joy catalyst as well, spreading joy, and then I found out afterwards, deep inside, there was something missing or lacking, maybe some inner joy lacking within. Yeah.
So then you got to go do the work, and that's what you do.
Yeah, that's why I stopped as well, like you.
Why this is happening now. So.
That's why we're here together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doing the deeper work. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So a couple of key points there, just accepting it. Okay, this is what it is. My addictions are making me feel this here and now. I accept myself, including these addictions, being on an unfolding journey towards a more peaceful state of loving awareness. Okay, so I'm not beating myself up. I think maybe, Susie, you have a tendency, and probably others in the group as well. You beat yourself up. Oh, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Like, I'm so slow, forget this. And that's just more ego, self-flagellating and condemning you for not getting it. But
I can see it's making the ego stronger, and all the work that I'm doing now, it doesn't matter what work I'm doing, I feel that I'm getting the ego to be more stronger, and that was not my game to do, but yet I still can't seem to drop that whole focus of,
focus on her.
Yeah, to focus on the awareness and focus on right here, right now, without letting the stories or the thoughts and, you know.
Oh, so I think it's a the helpful perspective is, as he says, just okay, this is a journey. I'm struggling with it a bit now, and stuff's coming up, and I'm in my mind, and instead of going right, I want it now, and I'm just really upset with myself that I'm not getting it now, and beating yourself
Is that how I
up.
look, Jono? When you expressed it, was that me? Wow.
No, actually, when you express it, you're more peaceful. But you're
Yeah.
describing that kind of inner turbulation, like, oh, I'm just in my head, and so I can imagine, and we've all had these thoughts, So instead of that, which isn't really helpful, it's kind of a beating up thought. You go, you know what? It's a journey. Okay, so I'm doing my best here. There's a lot to be said for doing your best. Okay, I'm doing my best. It's not the optimal state I'll be in. It's not full enlightenment. I get that. But right now, it's what I'm capable of. So, okay, that's the best I can do right now. And if I keep doing my best, which is really all Yeshua's asking us for, saying just keeping willing, then it's going in the right direction, and it will unfold from that willingness. So just a much gentler, kinder way of doing this than beating yourself up and saying you're not getting it and you'll never get this. That's just more ego. And it's just another. And then the second key point here is, one of the ways to escape from your sense of isolation is to communicate. Actually communicate with people and say, okay, I'm just going to share my deepest feelings. Part of the expression sessions is that communication, isn't it? So, okay, I'm communicating in a way that you're probably not used to communicating with your family, friends, because then, you don't feel comfortable. So, well, this is what I'm feeling right now. They may not know how to process that.
I've always been all right at doing that. To say that I was controlled for 18 years and I wasn't allowed to be seen, heard, or do you know what I mean? I just find it. I guess the truth is just coming out slowly, isn't it? That you've managed to do that, and it was like you weren't allowed to be seen, heard. You got misunderstood. But I've never ever, I was speaking at places. I did podcasts. I done radio. So I don't understand where but now it just feels since I've not had the business or for the past year, I'm just ganging up on myself somewhere. And I can't really see why I'm ganging myself up on myself, because this is loving awareness, being honest with yourself and saying it as it is. But for me, and I say me, because it's me that's making the choice to sit here, but it just feels like this last week, especially the last couple of days, you seem to have a turning point, and then it's just like the brakes are on and that's it. You're not going any further. But there's something obviously inside me. There's a pattern. There's a pattern that maybe I've never seen before or never expressed before, but I won't be afraid to keep saying it as it is, but I'm just dumbfounded now to think, what is it?
Well, it's the very core of your ego. It's more of the self-concept that you're starting to push into, and it's resisting. The resistance is normal. It's going, no, we don't want to go there. Let's resist this and try to stop the process. But you're in it, and there's no going back. That you're committed. You carry on and keep being willing, and use these tools. Keep expressing and being willing to share, and that's a key way of actually acting this out, and it's a behavior that can really help.
I think the loving is loving towards yourself, because I don't notice that I'm not so loving towards myself. All this is kind of normal for me. So when you show or say that, which is really good to see, because obviously I'm not being loving to myself. So how do I think I'm loving with anybody else if I'm not doing it to myself?
Well, that's quite a common pattern. So, you can be more loving to your family and friends, and if you can really master these pathways and start being loving to yourself, not condemning yourself for getting it wrong. It's like, okay, well, it's okay. understand this is a deep-seated program. You're going up again. This is the hardest thing to do that you're doing, right? It's the hardest thing in a human experience, hardest thing in human life to do. So of course, it's it's challenging. It's not going to be that easy. But give yourself congratulations. Say like, look, I'm doing this. It's good. I'm on my path. And so great. I'm doing it, and it's unfolding, and I'm trying my best, and I'm actually doing well. That's the sort of self-talk. Encourage yourself rather than put yourself down that you're not getting it quickly enough. Okay, so last one. Let's just finish this paragraph, and then we're done with the session. Let's ask Sue, maybe. Sue, can you read that for us? If you're at the beginning of your journey to higher awareness.
If you are at the beginning of your journey to higher awareness, you may find it helpful to communicate quickly and openly with others so that your relationships are always up front. Remember, hiding separates, openness unites. You will realize that open communication of your innermost feelings helps you and other people to become free of the addictive programming of the ego, which in the long run only produces unhappiness, isolation, and alienation.
Okay,
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. So generally, in my relationship with Mark, I do talk to him and tell him how I'm feeling. And even though he's not very good at communicating his emotions, I will often just say how I'm feeling. And it works really well. Because, I'm saying it in just from my heart. So we have a really good conversation. We don't argue. We just talk about stuff. It's just how I've been in my emotional state, I find it really difficult to communicate. I'm unable to express myself. So I can tell the difference very clearly. And I can feel that. So hiding separates. I've been feeling really separate. And I haven't been able to express myself. And then all the egoic thoughts come up and all sorts of things are going on in your head. And it's just the ego just rearing its head in such a big way, which doesn't help, which compounds all the emotions. So yes, I see that produces the unhappiness, isolation, and alienation, and that's what I've been feeling.
And one of the keys is, is communicate. It's like share the feeling. If you can do that, then share them anyway. Say, if you can't share them with Mark, share them here. And that's what the expression sessions are for. You share it, and it's cathartic. It kind of lets it out there. So release from your energy field. And then
I feel better for sharing this morning. Yeah, but it the trouble is when I open my mouth, all the tears come as well. So it just feels very I feel like I'm just making life really difficult, and I feel like I'm failing in some way because I can't hold on to my emotions.
You're not actually failing, you're succeeding. It's just it's a process of getting through all that emotional stuff, rubbish that's accumulated.
I was feeling like that not long ago at the beginning of the program, actually. An emotional mess, completely emotional mess. And
that's what I feel like.
But I can see how the course and the practice of meditation and everything is actually, bringing back stronger to the true beliefs. I mean, the beliefs of truth towards the truth, like bringing us back to the truth slowly but surely as we release and let go of the beliefs. But first you have to see what beliefs cause these emotions, or bring up these emotions, and then release them and let them go as we go along with it. Yeah, I've been releasing and letting go a lot of beliefs and guilt and the guilt and the punishment and
I mean, I have
anger.
I totally I have been releasing as I've been going. And then
it's messy. I mean, it's a messy process.
It is. It's
Emotions are
very messy.
but-
Very messy.
But it's like get the mess out. Rather get it out of you rather than inside of you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're an emotional mess inside. So these are tools that can help you to express them. By expressing emotion, you're getting the mess out, and it doesn't look pretty, but it's it's necessary. And if you've got a support structure like this, group you can share, or you've got a supportive partner who understands, okay, well, let it all out, get the mess out, and then actually you've cleared it out. It's part of the cathartic process. You clear it inside. The mess has been purged. There's definitely a catharsis happens when you express it. So use it, get it out there, and keep expressing the mess, and you release it, and then what comes is clarity, and you're cleaning up the mess. And that's, you're not failing, you're succeeding. You're just cleaning up the mess of many years of repressed emotions. Now you're having to do the housework and clean them finally. And that's success, not failure. So there's some idea, I don't know, it's a weird idea the ego has, that success should somehow look a certain way. It's all got to be really smooth and easy, and everyone should be happy all the time, and the Facebook life, smile, everyone's, it just doesn't work that way. Life is not like that. The feeling is messy.
I recognize myself there. I was showing, well, I was in a happy state, but I remember sharing all these happy experiences.
It's a Facebook life, isn't it? Everyone's like, Laurie's so happy, she's so amazing.
It was a mask, I guess. It was one of the face, the facet, or one of the facet of the personality. But it was, you can. You must have wondered, she can't be happy like that all the time. It's not possible. But I was actually in a happy state at that time. I mean, I was really, as I was sharing joy, I was feeling joy, But people
nothing
must
wrong with that. But
wonder. Why is she always happy, this woman? And then
what's lurking underneath, still needs to be resolved.
Yeah, exactly.
Those emotions of guilt and fear and attack thoughts and not self-loving, and I mean it's messy and it's not nice to look at, and we kind of feel ashamed. Well, am I the only one? No, I can promise you're not the only one. Everyone's got just, the people who heal are the people who have the courage to say, okay, I recognize that I've got it, and I'm willing to let it out. This is a key pathway. I'm actually willing to express it honestly and openly as a way of helping me release these.
I was guilty of hiding the truth. Guilty of hiding the truth.
Well, you weren't really guilty. You just made a mistake. You see, we have inappropriate ways to deal with it. The ego gives us inappropriate coping mechanisms, which don't help. They just make the problem worse. So if you've been doing that for years, like Sue in your example, it's now you've got to change that, and it's going to take some time. It's a correction to release all that, clean up the mess of years of repressed emotions. Can seem overwhelming because it's like, once you let it out, it doesn't stop. It's like okay,
opening a can of worms.
Release the can of worms.
Turning the tap on.
All got to go with it because it's got to come up. Otherwise you can never heal. So this is a key. It's one of the key ways of doing it. Be honest and open in your communication with others. Express your deepest feelings, because you're not hiding. No people pleasing. I'm not trying to please anyone. I'm just being honest and open and authentic. If I feel some way, if I feel this way, then I express it. And then it's in a non-attacking way. You're not attacking anyone. You're saying, look, this is the way I'm feeling. Not you to blame. This is just, I'm sharing my feelings. And then if you've got people in your life who can understand that, they should be empathetic. Okay, I'll listen empathetically and understand and try and help you resolve it. So yeah, any other thoughts on the 7th pathway? It's a nice one. Can incorporate it, try and express, and as part of the course, this is happening. Expression. If we open expression, which is what we're doing in the expression sessions. So if you can't do this in your home life, you can join the calls and do it. Okay, I'm aware of the time. It's now 22. So shall we call the session to a close then? Thank you everyone for
Thank
that.
you.
Just quick logistics tonight. We're going to be starting an hour later than normal. So it'll be 6 p.m. UK time. That's 7 p.m. your time already.
Okay, thank you.
8 p.m. South African time. So just get on, because got a one-on-one, and then I'm going to see my wife and son briefly. Just give me a bit of time to do that, and we'll see you at 6 for the evening session, which is a reading of the text on the altar of God. It's called 5 paragraphs, not too long. They're longish paragraphs, but yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Sue, if you stay on, we'll go straight into our session, and I'll see the rest of you hopefully this evening.
Thank you, Jono. Have a
Okay.
good time with your
Thank
family.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's stay.
Namaste.